of mobile devices is almost the same as desktop transactions. And a third of those transactions were made on a mobile phone. So obviously the field is changing. And we are going to hear from Daniel Prumers, Director of Business Development for Central Europe at Criteo, more about this.
Check, check, check. Yes, it's working. That's good. So first of all, hello. I'm very happy and I'm very pleased. Feel honored that I'm invited and I have the opportunity to speak here. So in particular, many thanks to Gabriela and Alex for having us here. So I would like to start with my presentation. If somebody tells me what I can do in order to do so, I'll do so. Perfect. So, my name is Daniel Prumers. I'm with Criteo and I'm the Director Business Development for Central Europe, which includes in our world also Eastern Europe. I'm pressing the key and something's happening. Okay, I need some kind of an advice. Okay, sorry. So we have to stay calm. I'll do so. I could sing, but I can't sing. But I can start telling you a little bit about Criteo. So I promised not to give a sales pitch, and I for sure won't do that. But probably all of you have seen an ad delivered by Criteo already. So what we are doing, we are actually the world market leader in display performance marketing, which is fully data driven. So we see ourselves as we are a technology company. So we are a global company. We have more than 2,000 employees. 1/3 of those 2,000 employees is tech guys. So those guys are working on our engine, on our algorithm. And here we go. So let's start again. So I told you, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, now we got it. Mobile marketing, how to succeed in a people-centric world. So I gave you a little bit of intro already about Criteo, what we are doing. Here are some nice show-off numbers. So we are a global company. We have more than 30 offices worldwide. So we work with 16,000 publishers in 130 countries. It's supposed to be countries, not länder, and we reach more than 1.1 billion people worldwide through our publishers with our ads. And we're at the moment working with more than 14,000 advertisers. So that was my sales pitch. Okay, I did that very briefly. So most of the data I'm going to refer to today in my presentation is our own data. So we are publishing every quarter a so-called mobile commerce report, as we have great insights due to the bunch of data we have into consumers' behavior in the e-commerce world. We publish this report. So if you're interested in those data and in the entire report, please go to our website, criteo.com/resources. So we all know this, yeah? So this has changed our life completely. So think about any technology that has changed the consumer's behavior so rapidly and so significantly as mobile has done. I can't think of any other technology. So it's a major shift driven by mobile technology, and it's a major shift also in our business. So our Criteo's business has been changing so rapidly over the last years into the direction of mobile and into a more and more mobile-driven, user-centric world. Think about that. So we are spending 2 hours in average a day on our phone. Probably I'm spending more time than 2 hours, but we are spending only 97 minutes with our partners. So think about that. Another fun fact, so we are engaging with our mobile device more than 150 times a day. Also, I see myself, unfortunately, I don't know, as a heavy user, so I think it's by far more in my specific case. But that's a huge number. Think about some nice questions that have been asked to users. So 43% would rather go shoeless, or 70% would rather give up alcohol, which is not that bad. But now the next one scares me, really. 22% would rather not brush their teeth than giving up their cell phone for a week. So think about that and think about yourself. So I hope it won't be the third point. Okay. Smartphones. Let's talk about smartphones. So we know that in average, from a global perspective, 38% of all mobile transactions are happening on a mobile device. A mobile device is defined in our case as tablet or smartphone. So, and when we take a look here at the different regions and countries, so it's, according to our data, quite low in Central Eastern Europe, and it's, I think that is something we know already, very high in Japan, in UK, and in South Korea. So here we see a lot of potential to grow the mobile business. Now coming to the smartphone, because what we are seeing is really that the smartphone is becoming the more and more most important mobile device, depending on the region. So in Central Eastern Europe, so the major part of the transactions, the mobile transactions, are already done on the smartphone. So it's 57% and only 43% of the transactions are happening on a tablet. So, and this is some benchmarks from other countries in Central Europe. So we see in particular Poland is a very, very smartphone-driven market. In Germany, probably as the share of voice of tablets in the market is quite high, it's balanced. So it's 50% smartphones and 50% tablets. What very interesting is when we take a look at the non-European countries, in particular in South Korea and in Japan, here more or less no tablets exist. So all mobile transactions and all mobile e-commerce business is happening on smartphones. Also here, depending on the market, it's very interesting where we have Android as a platform or where we have iPhone. In Switzerland, which is a, let's say, very specific market, I don't have specific numbers for Switzerland, unfortunately, but in Switzerland, the iPhone share is higher than the Android share, but in many other markets, so Android is by far the most important platform. What we see also here, so when we compare Android and Apple devices, iOS, so that the conversion rates on the iPhone and on the iPad are higher than on the smartphone, than on an Android smartphone or on an Android tablet. So we can try to explain this ourselves, but we don't do that. We simply know the data. This is what we see in our data from our users. Next one might come, hopefully. Here we go. Let's talk about apps. So far what I've been telling you so far was all about web, the mobile web. But there's always the major question, what is going to be, what is now and what is going to be more important? Is it apps or is it the mobile web? So there are different philosophies, but what we see and what we think what's going to happening within the next years, I'm going to tell you now. And what we see is that already 75% of all retail mobile transactions are made within an app. Think about that, not so many e-commerce players really have a good app in the market which is available. So my personal opinion, also what we assume, is that this share of voice will grow and the app is going to become more and more important in the future, as it is already now. Why? Why is that the case? So take a look at the conversion rates. So the weakest conversion rate we see on mobile web. Yeah, it's 6%. So a conversion rate here is always defined as the number of sales divided by the number of users that has been visiting the respective website at least once. Make sense? I hope so. So lowest conversion rate is on mobile. It's better on desktop, which sounds quite logical to me, but it's really surprising, honestly, that within an app we have a conversion rate of, in average, globally 13% already. Why is that happening? Cute photo, isn't it? So also here, let's take a look at the numbers. So the conversion funnel, which is something we are dealing with, of course, daily when we talk with our customers. So here, when we compare the mobile browser and the app, we see that the numbers of products that are viewed by user is almost 4 times higher within an app. Also here, sounds to me quite logical, because an app is simply more convenient and it's simply by far easier to browse an app than the mobile web. Next number. When we talk about really adding items into the shopping basket, also here it's almost twice better in, so if we combine this, when you use the app. And if we then finally take a look at the purchase, and also here we calculate the conversion rate, we can summarize that apps deliver 2.3 times higher conversion rate. This is only about conversion rates, but also here what is important, so what is in the shopping basket, or what is finally really bought. And when we take a look at the values, the order values, also here, surprisingly, app is leading with $116 in average, which is significant. So what does it mean? I think this is what this picture illustrates. So the world is getting, or is becoming, more and more complex. So of course the path to purchase for the user is not longer linear anymore. So if I'm looking for nice orange shoes or whatever, so when I'm on the train, when I'm at the airport, or when I'm at home, I'm really using different devices. And the challenge for all marketers and for all shops is really to manage this. And this is, from our point of view, one of the biggest challenges in marketing at the moment at all. The user or the shopper demands a seamless shopping experience via the different channels and the different devices. So what can we do? The solution for all this is, it's another buzzword, I think many companies are discussing that, but this is really the major discipline of marketing today, having or installing or creating and using a working cross-device solution. This is also kind of a cross-device solution. So a cross-device between this device and the laptop. Here we go. So another number. It's the right button, hopefully. It's just the arrow, right? So when it comes to a purchase on a mobile device, in almost 50% of the cases, the user has been searching for products on different devices and different channels. So that's what we have to consider. And on top of that, it's getting even more complex. So when we think about devices only, it's easy. So we have the iPhone or the Android phone, we have the company laptop, we have the laptop at home, maybe we have a tablet. So that's even complex already, but it's getting even more complex. So at the moment today, we're living in a browser-centric world. And for instance, me as a user, I have this iPhone, but I have already two profiles, Facebook profile and the Apple ID on my iPhone. So then using the laptop, so I have two browsers in use. I have two different cookies. So it's 4 profiles already. So the same when it comes to my work laptop, my work desktop, it's another profile. And then using, as I said already, using the tablet. So we have another, in this case, 3 profiles and very short legs. So it's 8 profiles, but 1 person only. So what can we do? Again, this is the key challenge for all marketers at the moment from our point of view. So there are different approaches, very different solutions to really solve this. So we need a consumer-centric view. We need one profile over all different channels and over all different devices. So, but also this is not that easy because we have to respect the consumer's privacy. It's a very, very big topic. It's a very big challenge. We have to deliver accuracy. Is it just a guessing? Is it a fingerprinting? Or do we have really hard data that we 100% know it's the same user? It has to scale. So in our case, in the Criteo case, so we're talking about hundreds of millions in terms of, as I told you already, in this case, 1 billion users. So that has to work all over the world at scale. And it has to work across all systems. So what is there in place already? And also, of course, less than 1/3 of the marketers think that they are able to handle this already. So probably the number is significantly lower. So honestly, there are just very, very little companies that are able to manage the cross-device challenge. So, what can we do? Again, so there are a couple of solutions in the market already. So, of course, we all know the big US players. So they all have their own solutions, which is, so in practice, quite simple. So they log in on the app, they log in, or you can log in on the desktop, and you can be identified. But this is working only within their cosmos. And this is only working really properly on their platforms. But I'm not using Facebook only, so I also visit other websites. I also go on Twitter. I'm on Google. So what can we do in order to really have a solution that is working? We as Criteo, so we have the Criteo universal match. And this is how we solve this problem. In very brief words, how is that working? So basically, we work very closely with our customers. So our customers, the web shops, they know their users by logging in. So the user logs in on a big e-commerce retailer, on the desktop, on the tablet, or on the mobile device. So they know the user due to the login. We get from our partners, from our clients in this regard, from those e-commerce players, we get anonymously a hashed, unified identifier that tells us who this user is, not who this user is, who this in terms of personally, no name, no age, no gender. We only know the cookie. So we can match this hashed ID with our cookie. And by doing so, or with our device ID if we are in the app cosmos. So by doing this, so we are able to create our own profile database, which is completely anonymous. But this is working, and this enables us to really do a cross-device, fully user-centric solution for our customers. So we think there are 3 major new rules for people-centric marketing. So the first one is, if it comes, so I have to really improve this here. Okay, let's wait another 20 seconds. Here we go. So, which is not that sophisticated, but it's a simple rule. Mobile first. Use a mobile first approach. Second one is invest in an app that highlights relevant products for each consumer. We are discussing that very often with our customers, with our clients. It's a huge investment, an app, of course, and the biggest challenge for our clients is really to get reach for this, to distribute this app, to really increase the reach, to make the users use the app. But if you do that correctly and you're really committed to the app business, it pays out. So that's what we clearly see, and that's what we can strongly recommend. And the third point is make it easy to browse and buy across all channels. So it's all about cross-device, user-centric marketing. And that's actually it. Thank you very much so far.
Thank you. So, do we have questions? Yeah. You can stand here so that you can see the people as well.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, that's good.
Here's my spot. Okay. I see a question over there, at least an arm.
Hi, I have a question regarding comparing the conversion rate on mobile browser and apps. Did you investigate a particular consumer group like buyers, or is it the whole traffic to a website? Because most of the app users are returning users, and maybe 90% of them are buyers. So it's not normal to have a 2% conversion rate compared to 13% conversion rate without a reason. Now, it's not just usability or functionality of the app. You're just analyzing completely different user groups. If you analyze buyers on mobile browsers compared to apps, you will get conversion rates, very close conversion rates between 10 and 13% and not 2 and 13%. This is my opinion. I'm not sure that I'm right. What do you think about this?
Okay, I think that underlines what I'm saying, that the strong recommendation is go for an app, because an app is by far more sticky than a website. So, and this actually, it's not contradictory. I think it's exactly confirming what my message is about. So an app, if it's created and managed well, is the right tool to increase your sales, to drive your business. And one aspect of that is, of course, to make it sticky and to create loyalty with your users. I don't see the conflict here. Basically, I agree what you're saying.
Okay, thanks.
Over here.
More questions?
Yeah. Milos.
Another arm.
I wanted to ask you, is it legal and how is it possible when I search for something on Google and then go into a Facebook app, Facebook suggests me something that I just searched?
So I don't know. I can. So that's a very sophisticated, an easy question that requires a sophisticated answer. I can only speak for what we are doing. So, and we are doing, of course, only legal things. I think the very important part here is that we are using no social demographic, and in particular no personal data. So it's all completely anonymous. So each user for us is a user that has an ID. So it's a number in the cookie or the device ID or whatever. So that's why, let's say, we as Criteo, with our business model, so we have by far, from a privacy point of view, by far, let's say, easier position in terms of meeting the legal requirements than players that are also dealing with personal data. But I'm not able to answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
Further arms? One more over there. Okay.
Thank you. Hi. Do you maybe know what is the status of using cross-device approach here in Serbia? Do the big companies use that here? Do you know that maybe?
Basically, I can't give you any numbers. So maybe basically this concept of cross-device together with our partners, we have been starting a couple of quarters ago. So, and we have rolled it out quite successfully. We have been focusing, of course, on the major clients and on the major markets so far. Current status in CEE is that we have a stable business already in the entire region, but also in particular here in Serbia. But a major part of this business is driven by import business. So what we're doing right now, we are focusing more and more, so the local business, the local players and the big players. And that's why we are here. So I'm coming back to the sales pitch. It's a little bit of a sales pitch. So I'm sorry, I'm doing that. But that's what we're doing. Regarding the cross-device, let's say, rollout share of voice, firstly, I don't know the exact number, and secondly, I wouldn't be able to tell it publicly.
Frame of data privacy will reflect on your business or any future, any specific example, just to understand. The lady was having the presentation on the first part, but I would just, any picture example, like what will be now and how it's going to look like in future. This 2018 that she was mentioning, that all these.
You mean, sorry, you mean the legal aspect or
Yes.
our business in general?
Legal.
as it has been over the last years. So we only do business which is meeting the legal requirements in the respective country. That's the mission from a legal perspective. And this in a growing environment. Does it make sense somehow? Okay. Thank you very much. So it was really a pleasure, and meet you later during the lunch break. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel.